Futile, adjective, having no effect or result, pointless. Example, his efforts to stop the rain were futile. Ubiquitous, adjective, present or found everywhere. Example, smartphones have become ubiquitous in modern society. Cognizant, adjective, being aware of something. Example, she was cognizant of the challenges ahead. Exacerbate, verb, to make a situation worse. Example, his actions only served to exacerbate the problem. Resilient, adjective, able to recover quickly from difficult situations. Example, the community was resilient in the face of disaster. Convoluted, adjective, extremely complex and difficult to follow. Example, the plot of the novel was so convoluted that it was hard to understand. Empirical, adjective, based on observation or experience rather than theory. Example, the theory was supported by empirical evidence. Procrastinate, verb, to delay or postpone doing something. Example, he tends to procrastinate when it comes to starting assignments. Catalyst, something that causes a change or event. Example, the invention of the internet was a catalyst for global communication. Eloquent, adjective, fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing. Example, her eloquent speech moved the audience. Tangible, adjective, able to be touched or perceived. Example, the tangible benefits of exercise include improved health. Incessant, adjective, never stopping or ceasing. Example, the incessant noise from the construction site was unbearable. Ambiguous, adjective, having more than one possible meaning. Unclear. Example, the politician's statement was ambiguous and caused confusion. Frivolous, adjective, not having any serious purpose or value. Example, spending money on frivolous items can lead to financial difficulties. Indispensable, adjective, absolutely necessary. Example, a reliable internet connection is indispensable for remote work. Scrutinize, verb, to examine closely and thoroughly. Example, the auditor scrutinized the financial records for discrepancies. Voracious, adjective, having a very eager approach to something. Example, she had a voracious appetite for reading. Fluctuate, verb, to rise and fall irregularly. Example, the price of oil can fluctuate depending on global demand. Perplex, verb, to confuse or puzzle. Example, the complicated math problem perplexed the students. Abundant, adjective, plentiful, more than enough. Example, the region is abundant in natural resources. Eccentric, adjective, unconventional or slightly strange. Example, his eccentric behavior often drew attention at work. Coherent, adjective, logical and consistent. Example, the presentation was clear and coherent, making it easy to follow. Benevolent, adjective, showing kindness or goodwill. Example, the benevolent organization provides food to the needy. Deteriorate, verb, to become worse or decline in quality. Example, the situation began to deteriorate as tensions increased. Obscure, adjective, not well known or hard to understand. Example, the obscure details of the case were hard to decipher. Dichotomy, a division or contrast between two things that are entirely different. Example, the dichotomy between wealth and poverty was evident in the city. Inevitable, adjective, certain to happen, unavoidable. Example, the collapse of the old building was inevitable. Plausible, adjective, seeming reasonable or probable. Example, the scientists presented a plausible explanation for the phenomenon. Spontaneous, adjective, occurring without premeditation or external cause. Example, their spontaneous decision to go on a road trip was exciting. Corroborate, verb, to confirm or support with evidence. Example, the witness's testimony corroborated the defendant's story. Ostentatious, adjective, designed to impress or attract attention. Example, the millionaire's ostentatious mansion was the talk of the town. Innate, adjective, existing from birth, inborn. Example, she had an innate talent for music. Cursory, adjective, hasty and not thorough. Example, he gave a cursory glance at the report before moving on. Turbulent, adjective, characterized by disorder or instability. Example, the turbulent political climate caused uncertainty in the country. Repercussion, an effect or consequence of something. Example, the decision had long-term repercussions for the economy. Tacit, adjective, understood or implied without being stated. Example, there was a tacit agreement between the two parties. Deviate, verb, to depart from an established course or norm. Example, he decided to deviate from the plan and try a new approach. Prolific, adjective, producing a lot of something, especially creative work or ideas. Example, the artist was prolific, creating hundreds of works in his lifetime. Meticulous, adjective, showing great attention to detail. Example, she was meticulous in her research, ensuring accuracy. Rhetoric, noun, the art of persuasive speaking or writing. Example, the politician's rhetoric convinced many voters. Vindicate, verb, to clear someone of blame or suspicion. Example, the new evidence helped vindicate the accused. Ambivalent, adjective, having mixed feelings about something. Example, she was ambivalent about moving to a new city. Commence, verb, to begin or start. Example, the ceremony will commence at 10 a.m. Prolific, adjective, producing a lot of something, especially creative work or ideas. Example, Shakespeare was a prolific writer of plays. Epitome, noun, a perfect example of a particular quality or type. Example, she is the epitome of kindness. Adept, adjective, highly skilled or proficient at something. Example, she is adept at solving complex mathematical problems. Inundate, verb, to overwhelm with a large amount of something. Example, the office was inundated with emails after the announcement. Allude, verb, to mention or refer to something indirectly. Example, the author alluded to the events in her previous novel. Pragmatic, adjective, dealing with things sensibly and realistically. Example, his pragmatic approach to the project ensured its success. Tenuous, adjective, weak or slight. Example, the connection between the two theories was tenuous. Precarious, adjective, not secure, dangerous. Example, the climbers found themselves in a precarious position. Altruistic, adjective, showing a selfless concern for others. Example, his altruistic actions helped many people in need. Comprehensive, adjective, thorough and all-encompassing. Example, the study provided a comprehensive analysis of the issue. Adverse, adjective, harmful or unfavorable. Example, the adverse effects of the drug were observed in some patients. Resonate, verb, to evoke a feeling of shared emotion or experience. Example, the speaker's words resonated with the audience. Oblivious, adjective, unaware of something. Example, she was oblivious to the fact that everyone was watching her. Inherent, adjective, existing as a natural part of something. Example, the risk is inherent in any adventurous activity. Eminent, adjective, famous and respected. Example, the eminent scientist received numerous awards for his work. Exemplify, verb, to be a perfect example of something. Example, his behavior exemplifies the values of the company. Controversial, adjective, likely to cause disagreement or discussion. Example, the politician's views on climate change were controversial. Exhilarating, adjective, making one feel very happy, animated, or elated. Example, the exhilarating ride left everyone in high spirits. Skeptical, adjective, having doubts or reservations. Example, she was skeptical about the effectiveness of the new policy. Diligent, adjective, showing persistent and hard-working effort. Example, he was a diligent student, always completing his assignments on time. Vindictive, adjective, having or showing a desire for revenge. Example, his vindictive behavior made him difficult to work with. Rejuvenate, verb, to make something look or feel younger or more lively. Example, the spa treatment rejuvenated my skin. Benevolent, adjective, well-meaning and kind. Example, the benevolent donor contributed millions to the cause. Provoke, verb, to deliberately cause a reaction. Example, his comments were meant to provoke a response. Dismantle, verb, to take apart or break down. Example, the company plans to dismantle the old machinery. Incongruous, adjective, out of place or not in harmony with the surroundings. Example, the modern building looked incongruous next to the ancient ruins. Elusive, adjective, difficult to find, catch or achieve. Example, the solution to the problem remained elusive. Fathom, verb, to understand something deeply. Example, it is hard to fathom the complexity of the human brain. Mitigate, verb, to make something less severe or harsh. Example, actions were taken to mitigate the effects of the storm. Vehement, adjective, showing strong feeling or forceful expression. Example, his vehement opposition to the proposal was well known. Altruism, noun, the belief in or practice of selfless concern for the well-being of others. Example, her altruism was demonstrated by her volunteer work. Brevity, noun, shortness of time or duration. Example, the brevity of his speech made it more impactful. Spurious, adjective, not genuine or authentic. Example, the report was filled with spurious claims. Conducive, adjective, making a situation or outcome likely or possible. Example, the quiet environment was conducive to studying. Apprehensive, adjective, feeling anxious or fearful about something. Example, she was apprehensive about the upcoming exam. Lament, verb, to express grief or sorrow. Example, he lamented the loss of his childhood home. Transient, adjective, lasting only for a short period. Example, the transient nature of the weather made it hard to predict. Allegory, noun, a story or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. Example, the novel is an allegory about social justice. Plausible, adjective, seeming reasonable or probable. Example, his explanation seemed plausible at the time. Tangible, adjective, something that can be touched or physically perceived. Example, there was tangible evidence of the accident. Quintessential, adjective, representing the most perfect example of something. Example, she is the quintessential leader. Cognizant, adjective, aware or mindful of something. Example, the company is cognizant of the challenges in the industry. Innate, adjective, existing from birth. Example, he had an innate sense of direction. Ubiquitous, adjective, present or found everywhere. Example, smartphones are ubiquitous in today's society. Inexplicable, adjective, unable to be explained or understood. Example, the phenomenon remained inexplicable despite extensive research. Inevitable, adjective, certain to happen. Example, the aging process is inevitable. Nefarious, adjective, wicked or criminal. Example, the villain had a nefarious plan to take over the world. Abhor, verb, to hate deeply. Example, she abhors dishonesty in any form. Accentuate, verb, to emphasize or highlight. Example, the lighting accentuated her facial features. Adroit, adjective, skillful and clever. Example, he is adroit at handling negotiations. Advocate, verb, to support or recommend. Example, she advocates for animal rights. Aesthetic, adjective, concerned with beauty or the appreciation of beauty. Example, the building has great aesthetic value. Affluent, adjective, wealthy or prosperous. Example, the affluent neighborhood had luxurious homes. Agile, adjective, able to move or think quickly. Example, the gymnast was incredibly agile. Alleviate, verb, to relieve or lessen. Example, meditation can alleviate stress. Ambiguous, adjective, open to multiple interpretations. Example, his statement was ambiguous. Ambitious, adjective, having a strong desire to succeed. Example, she is ambitious